Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Pipe It Up podcast. We are in studio once again. In the stew. After that launched episode with Sparky, went super well. We break that down a little bit in this podcast, as well as debriefing opening day.
Quack attack.
Tommy, as well as we're joined by Dan. Believe it or not, we got a hold of him somehow, and he's joining us on the podcast.
About time you showed up around these parts, Dan.
So happy to have him back. A couple other topics, couple new segments for you guys. This is the Pipe It Up podcast. Cue the intro.
Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pipe It Up podcast, the official podcast of MLW Wiffle Ball. And it is officially Wiffle Ball season. Opening day in the books. Mallards took it by a final score of 2-1 in the series. Dan's shaking his head already. Tonight in the studio, we got Daniel Schultz as our guest and my co-host, Jack Hagner, of course. Thanks for joining me, fellas, tonight. Feels good, huh?
Feels amazing. Yeah. We've done our launch now of the Pipe It Up podcast on YouTube with the Sparky interview, and we're moving to in-person podcasts now. Video podcast coming out every week, which is super exciting. So
it is kind of nerve-wracking. I'm not used to having to look at cameras when I'm addressing intros and whatnot. So it's definitely different, but it feels good.
Yeah, this is like we got to give them maybe some more behind the scenes on like our Instagram or something of the whole setup, sure. Because normally I'm used to just like plugging my mic into my computer and staring at the Zoom and then, editing the podcast. And this is like a full scale production we got going on. So it does feel like we're a little bit, under a little bit more pressure, but
for sure.
Overall the product's going to be much better.
I think so.
Yeah.
Dan, do you feel privileged to be here? Because you should.
It's a pleasure. I haven't been on in a while. And I was telling Tom, this production definitely beats when me and Kyle were doing it a couple of years ago, just in my basement. So it looks great. I
mean, it's coming together. It's still a little bit rough around the edges, I'd say, but what you can see on camera is not so bad. Right?
Yeah. Oh no. When we started, it was literally a folding table, and you can't see it right now, but the equipment we have on the ground, and then just all of us sitting around that card table was basically how we did the podcast. And so yeah, we've come a long way.
But I will say this fireplace looks great, but it's going to get toasty down.
It's starting to get warm. I'm sweating a little bit. Not going to lie.
I'm going to be greased up by the end of this pod for sure. I sweat a lot as it is, but definitely want to talk about opening day today in a good amount of depth. But I do want to talk about, too, last week's pod, Jack, because that was our launch to the studio. We had Sparky from Dude Perfect on the show. And overall, I think it went about as good as it could have. I mean, do you agree?
It went phenomenally, and I want to give we need to give a round of applause to Tommy here for doing a great job editing and putting out that video. It was a lot of content to sift through, and he did a really good job. So
thanks,
hats
Jack.
Off to you, co-host.
Did my best.
But it was awesome.
But for the most part, you guys pretty much saw the entire conversation. There were a couple pieces I did have to take out at Sparky's request. So Jack and I got a little bit more behind the scenes than you guys saw, unfortunately. But for the most part, you guys saw it just as it was, besides the awkward pauses in between of a Zoom call, which you expect. But shout out to the Dude Perfect editors for giving Sparky that microphone and the camera and making his setup look. He outdid us, unfortunately, but I'll take it.
He definitely did. It was a perfect shot, and he was just such an awesome guy. Again, shout out to Sparky for doing that with us. I was telling Dan before we started recording that the amount of laughter that was throughout that entire podcast, Tommy did a really good job of making it, digestible in terms of the conversation. But I really was laughing in that entire podcast. I was laughing.
He's a funny guy.
He was a funny guy. Great dude.
I think
no
my
pun
favorite
intended.
part watching
Just
it
kidding,
back,
pun intended.
I thought it was hilarious when he was talking about his wiffle ball skills and like the confidence in his voice. Like, I'd probably be a two-hitter, I can small ball it up, I can do this, I can do that.
Oh yeah, no hesitation.
It was so funny to me.
He would fit in great on any MLW roster for sure. He would.
What'd you think of it, Dan, from a third party's perspective?
Yeah, I thought he was a really down-to-earth guy, very cool story. And yeah, I thought it was funny. He had a lot of good baseball knowledge. And of course, Norp was his favorite player, so I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't love Norp?
Who doesn't?
I think it's the hair. Maybe I should grow out the hair or something.
It's the hair. It's, like he said, I mean, the kid he does it all. He can pitch, he can hit, brings the energy. He's got the flair. What's not to like?
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, overall, great interview. cannot thank Sparky enough. I've already sent him like 5 thank yous probably, but I'm gonna have to do one final one just because he didn't have to do that. And he really gave us a great, like, vulnerable interview, I feel like. When we got the ball rolling there at the beginning, Jack, he kind of got right to the point of like, okay, like that was where we were going to try to climax the interview a little bit. And he gave us the full story kind of right away, which I was like, oh boy, how's this going to go? But then we settled into the conversation a little bit, and I thought it went all right for the most part.
I remember talking to Tommy after, and we were saying, like, after the first 5-10 minutes maybe of the interview, we were kind of like almost looking at each other like, is this just going to end? Like, are we going to get enough out of this? But it ended up going a lot of different directions, covering a pretty wide range of topics. So I always like that in a podcast when it's not just too stale, you know.
It was also cool because, you know, besides a 5-minute phone call I shared with him about a half hour prior to our Zoom call, I had never talked to the guy besides just DMs.
Yeah.
So once again, what you were seeing was quite genuine in terms of us learning about him and hearing the story, because me as a viewer of Dude Perfect did all of a sudden just see this random 6th guy in the videos every week, and I'm like, well, how did this guy end up on the channel? So that was me also learning about him, and I think a lot of people who watch Dude Perfect, and hopefully we'll see that interview, will also be able to learn along with us. So yeah, great interview. Thanks again to Sparky, but got to talk MLW now, right, Dan? Unfortunately for you.
Yeah, unfortunately for me.
And your mustache.
And the mustache, he did look good out there. At
Dude,
least.
the mustache is all time. I gotta say, as a facial hair guy, I can't stop looking at the mustache. I got a great view right here. It's phenomenal.
What made you go from beard to mustache only?
So the mustache was kind of just a joke between me and my friends when we went to Mexico for spring break. But then I kind of just kept it. And then me and Carlington, I don't know if you heard about it. We were actually thinking about placing a bet during the series, but whoever lost the series was gonna have to shave. But I didn't go through.
I heard.
Good thing I didn't.
I heard you were the one who didn't want the bet.
I didn't want the bet.
Smart man. He knew it was coming.
Little lack of confidence there from Dan.
Maybe that's why they lost.
Maybe.
But I mean, overall, let's look at it game by game. Start with game 1, right?
Yeah.
Weather was nice to start the day. We had the aces on the mound. Robles, Dallas. Dallas, in my opinion, was probably from start to finish the nastiest pitcher of the year. So it kind of sucked as a hitter trying to go out there and face him right away.
Yeah.
And I especially felt bad for Preston because I didn't want that to be bad for his confidence to go out there and have to face Dallas on his first ever series. Because that's tough. And it can be, if you go 0-for, it's like, dang, but I've gone 0-for against Dallas many a times. Last year, that was my worst series last year by far. I think that was the Mallards as a whole worst series by far last year. So
yeah, everyone struggled against him.
That was a tough draw for us for sure. And to be honest, even though we beat him once, we really didn't see him that great. That was the only hit we had in the first game was my solo shot.
Yep.
And in game 3, I think we had 2 hits or so, and they were nothing to be too excited about. So Dallas threw well.
I mean, sometimes that's all it takes, though, right?
Yeah.
Is that one shot, that vintage TC3 random bomb.
How did I end up with that nickname?
Random bomb.
You played great, Tommy. I got to give it to you, man. Like that was a vintage. Yeah, like Jack said, that was a vintage Tom series right there.
Well, I feel like I didn't really do much. It was the 2 bombs.
That's
like,
it was.
The defense was lackluster a little
though.
bit. It was definitely a factor. Well, that's what I told you guys. Rewind 100 episodes of this podcast, and I said I'm going to go back to right-handed. I think my average is going to drop, but I should hit more bombs. And bombs are what's winning games in this league.
That's true. I think you just mentioned the defense. I was actually pretty impressed for the most part from both teams. Normally, you'd kind of think like first series, maybe there'd be some miscommunications, which there were a few, but there were also some phenomenal defensive plays. Dan had a nice flip to first in one of the games, I remember.
That was a great play.
The Mallards, great defense too, so that was cool to see as well.
It is tough too. As you guys can see, I'm sure who are watching closely, the terrain at the Meadows is not the best, right? No. It's pretty patchy.
It's only getting worse.
It's not level. Yeah, it really needs to be. The problem is it's not watered, so we can't really do much about it.
We need our maintenance guy back.
We need Dembski, yeah.
We need Dembski.
We need the keeper back. But so yeah, it's tough. A routine ground ball is not routine at the Meadows, but yeah, Dan made a great play. Preston made a couple look easy.
Preston was really smart out there, I thought.
Preston looked great.
Yeah, he did.
He looked so comfortable. He didn't seem nervous. He's a young kid. He didn't really show that in the video, in my opinion, but he's only 15.
He looked confident at the plate, confident in the field. I mean, from a manager standpoint, you have to be really happy with what you saw out of the rookie.
Literally couldn't be any happier.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I didn't expect him to... I knew what he was capable of, and I don't even think he's reached his potential yet, but you got to think when a kid's 15, never played at the Meadows against a guy like Dallas with the nerves, I'm like, he's probably going to have a shaky outing. But that's part of the growing pains. You got to live through that to get better.
Yes, of course.
So that's what I was assuming heading into the series, to be honest. And getting production out of him offensively and defensively was just a cherry on top for us. That
huge.
Was not what I was anticipating happening. Even last year, our first series for Robles, he didn't hit the ball all that great against the Cobras. He did hit a homer in the third game, but he was not nearly as comfortable as he is now a year later. So to see Preston do what he did, a couple knocks, great defensive plays, great at-bats, even his strikeouts against Dallas, he was battling, fouling off pitches, probably better than I was.
Yep.
So very, very, very encouraging moving forward, I thought for sure. Were you surprised by that, Dan?
I definitely was surprised. I think I underestimated him, especially from the pitching standpoint. He seemed very poised out there.
Poised.
It kind of reminded me of Landon last year. Just very settled at the plate, fought in all of his ABs, and just did a really great job for the Mallards.
Yeah, Landon too last year. All these Bay City guys surprised me, it seems like, in the first series of the year. So he was definitely, I think, the surprise of the day for either side. So I was thrilled about that. Besides that, pitching great, both sides. I mean...
Well, maybe not me.
Okay, Dan. But...
I pitched pretty badly. I'll be the first to say.
So what, you got out of the first inning, right?
Yeah, I did fine in the first inning, but the second inning, I just could not throw a strike.
I was beating myself up, guys, because in game 2, you never want to throw an at-bat away, especially when you're getting less now with the 4-man roster.
Yeah.
But I was beating myself up because I think you walked Jordan on 4 pitches to start that game. And I wasn't looking to, be in attack mode. I was looking to be patient and make you earn it, but I think you threw me a first pitch riser, and it just looked so pretty. And
you just can't help yourself.
I took a hack and totally whiffed, and it was a ball. And then Dan started to hum. Like I gave him the confidence he didn't really need at that point.
Yeah.
Never give a guy more confidence than make him earn it. Make him find that. So I was beating myself up there in the bottom of the first, or top of the first, I think that was game 2.
Yeah.
But then we capitalized in the second inning.
That's what I hate most about playing the Mallards is you guys are so picky. Like you
Are
guys
we really though compared to other
it's
teams?
like a good you guys are very selective. You only swing at good pitches, and like Preston was the same way. Like you guys were very selective, and you guys were killing me at the plate.
Could you pinpoint something, Dan, that wasn't working for you, or was it just not?
I just couldn't throw a strike in the second inning. My riser just lost command. It just was going everywhere. I could not hone it in. So I just got out.
Which surprised me too, because last year that did happen to you in your first outing. You were kind of shaky last year, if I remember right.
Yeah,
is that correct?
I'm trying to remember. I believe.
I feel like I remember that.
But this year, spring training, you looked great.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought you were good to go this year.
In spring training, like in warm-ups, I was terrible. But in the game, I actually was decent. So I don't know. I practiced a lot. I need to make some more adjustments looking at next series, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So there was one strikeout with the vintage knuck drop that I saw. Were you throwing that a lot more, or were you kind of staying away from that because you couldn't find that
Jordan?
either? Yeah.
So that was
because normally you see that a few more times from Dan in a video.
That was an 0-1 pitch. I was really just trying to mix it up on Robles. I was actually really mad that at bat because I got him down 0-2 and then I walked him, and so I was kind of really mad, and that carried over to the next batters. And so that was the bad inning, the second inning. So
okay,
I got to be better mentally on the mound.
We got the carousel moving that inning. We had bases loaded. It was like walk, single, walk. Yeah. It was a good inning for sure. It felt good.
I do want to say, I believe it was in game 1. It's always cool to see pitchers come back from the off season and add something else to their game. And I'm pretty sure it was in game 1 where Dallas had a nasty knuckleball.
Yep.
And I don't think he threw that one time last year. I don't think he had that in his arsenal.
Very rarely. He may have a couple times, but very rarely.
But maybe it didn't make it into a video then.
Maybe not a strike 3.
Maybe not a strike 3, but that was really cool. And then also like Robles doing his best Jimmy Norp impression and mixing up his deliveries. There was one that was actually so funny. I'd have to find a timestamp for it, but you got to go back because I think he literally like swats like a mosquito or like a fly like in his wind up. Like he's winding up and like swats it and still pitches it. But yeah, he had some pretty some off cadence deliveries that were pretty interesting, pretty nasty. But cool to see those guys kind of like mixing it up.
Yeah. When Dallas threw the knuckleball, Kyle did show the clip of Matt in spring training, Carlington.
Yeah.
And just like Ryan's two-seamer last year, and that's kind of catching on and becoming a theme in the league, I could see knuckleballs start to be thrown now.
Could you throw a knuckleball? Like, do you actually hold it like with your knuckles when you?
You're
throw
not a
that?
baseball guy, right? So,
No.
Knuckleballs. When I was a kid, funny enough, I can't really throw a knuckleball anymore. When I was like 12, I don't know why, but I found the sweet spot, I guess, in my hand size to where I could use like my thumb and then these 3 fingers, and I could do it with a baseball and throw it where literally with no spin. Like it would just teleport through the air. But then when my hand grew, I lost that, and I think pros like R.A. Dickey was a knuckleballer. Who are some other ones, Dan?
Who was the famous one? Can't think of his name.
Come on,
Glavin? Was Glavin a knuckleballer? R.A. Dickey was like the modern one.
Yeah.
But there was a good one, like I think in the 90s or
Okay,
early
whatever.
2000s.
But yeah, usually it's a 2-finger. But yeah, so what happens is, Jack, your fingers kind of push the ball. So usually a fastball per se, like it's got backspin, super fast, right? Thousands of revs per minute, per second, whatever. But a knuckleball, the goal there is for it to actually
have like no spin.
No spin. Yeah. So then the aerodynamics of the laces can do crazy things with a baseball. Wiffle ball is even more insane depending on where you position the holes. So,
yeah, but it's the same. So in wiffle ball, are you putting your fingers like in the hole, or
no?
are
You're kind of resting the ball on your fingertips, and then you're kind of pushing the ball,
like flicking it with your fingers.
Yes, like you're just moving the ball forward, not trying to spin it like forwards or backwards.
Never in my wildest dreams.
I'll have to teach you sometime out in the front yard or something.
Maybe that's my next pitch in my arsenal. We got the duck hook, and then we'll add the knuckle.
The knuckle.
No one will be able to touch it.
Yeah, that would be a good 1-2 punch. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it was cool to see that, and I'm curious to see if more guys are going to add that to their arsenal. You guys are probably going to see something on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram in that regard. And the knuckleball got it in the works right now.
Yeah.
But other than that, Robles threw great, gets 2 more wins. I think the Mallards as a whole, and Jordan's in that group, of course. Caden, we're not big movement guys. We don't have the nasty knuckle drops and the screwing risers and everything. They kind of just pound the zone.
Yeah.
But it works, and I can't complain.
That's what makes Robles so effective. Is he's very accurate, and the pitch that was getting me the most, it's the slight movement.
It's just very little movement.
He was pounding me on the sinker, like 2-seamer drop, just inside, because it looks like it's going right down the middle, and then at the last minute darts, and that's so hard.
Well, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same idea we've seen over the past couple seasons with Nick Saylor. Like some people have started to get around to him, but. His pitches never moved a lot at all. He was just always around the zone. Like it was like you thought every pitch he threw was going to be a strike. And that makes it really hard, at least in my opinion as a batter, because it's like you're constantly like defending. Like
for sure.
Because you're trying to sit on the pitches, but when they're like not moving a lot and you're used to seeing ones that do move a lot, it throws you off.
Definitely tricky. And I will say too that from a hitting perspective, at least in wiffle ball, being down in the count is just terrible. It is so hard to hit in baseball or wiffle ball when you're down 0-1.
Yeah.
And because Jordan was throwing strikes after that first inning, because he was throwing strikes so often, it's easier to get a guy to chase 0-0, like and swing at the first pitch, even when it's a ball. Whereas you're like Dan and you're struggling, guys are way less likely to swing at that first pitch for you. They're going to make you earn that first strike.
First pitch is crucial,
especially
from the pitching standpoint. If I can get a hitter down 0-1, then I have freedom wherever. I can mix it up, or I can go back right to a riser, whatever I want. So it's huge.
Yeah, I think your home run was your home. I think your home run was on the first pitch of the AB.
Yeah, I'm sure Norp and others will use this to my disadvantage at some point this year, but I'll be open on the pod and just say that I'm not excuse me. Like I said, I'm not a good hitter when I'm down in the count. So I'm looking for certain stuff first pitch, and if it's there, I'm going to swing.
Yep.
And Dallas, I felt like I was starting to see the drop a little bit better, and I was in my head, I'm like, if this is a drop ball and it's going to be a strike, I'm going to swing at it. So I will say it's disappointing when I watch back the videos. I used to make fun of Noah for this too, but my swing is so bad.
What do you mean?
Like terrible. It's not good.
It's not bad.
You don't think it's bad?
No, it's not that bad.
I think it's pretty bad.
I mean, there's definitely worse swings in this room.
Yeah, you were the best hitter in that series. So I mean, nobody can really
I'm starting to realize, I think, I used to make fun of Noah for having the ugliest swing ever, but at 2017, he was our best power hitter.
Doesn't
probably
matter.
The best in the league. In wiffle ball, like, your strength is not that important.
No,
you just need to get bat on the ball.
And coordination.
And it's just all about laying the bat on the ball and getting it off at the right angle. So it really doesn't need to look pretty. It all looks the same in the stat book.
So to your point, I mean, I haven't been in the league nearly as long as you guys have, but Zach Whalen hitting a home run like when he hit that home run, I kind of just had the thought like, man, he's just been doing it for so long. And like, he's never been like a, A-list like player that's like when people think of the Eagles, they definitely probably think of Waylon, but they don't think of him as like the star on the team. Yet he always produces. Like he's very consistent.
He's a tough out.
His swing is nothing flashy, but he just is quick to the ball and just, kind of that lefty slap shot almost. And it works. He gets hits, dude.
He is very tough.
He's been an Eagles staple for how long? I also didn't know that he played for that many teams.
Yeah, he bounced around.
By the way, that was a great trivia.
I didn't realize that this is his 8th year in the league, which is just crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
There's some serious veterans in this league, man.
His swing's very fluid, very contact heavy, which I love. That's what I told him. That's what I need from him.
No, but he's good. I mean, that was the guy in your guys' lineup that Robles and Caden did not want to face because he, like you were saying about us, he will not swing at balls.
No,
he is so disciplined up there. It's unreal.
Yeah. And another point about this series that I thought was interesting was with the rule change, having to have 4 guys in your lineup. We had talked, when that happened and had said, well, that might actually favor the Eagles because they were kind of used to that.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you were just looking at it straight up in this series, it definitely favored you guys because you had that production out of Preston and you also had production out of Davenport.
Mm-hmm.
He looked pretty good at the plate, and I don't know, I'd like some color on that from you, Tommy, because that was a bit unexpected from my end. Like I didn't know that he had that game at the plate.
He's got game. I mean, like I said, I gave the guy shout outs last year throughout on the podcast and post game interviews and stuff like that. But when it came down to me improving, a huge reason why that happened is because Davenport and Caden and myself would meet up and practice together.
Yeah.
And by practice, basically we just like have Davenport get on the mound and pitch to me and Caden for an inning, and then Caden goes, and I would go and just rotate through like that. So just getting live at bats. And he can hit. I've seen him do it in practice a lot. He hasn't had, unfortunately, that many at bats in MLW games. He'll get more this year because of the 4-man rule. But I think it comes down to him just being more comfortable, taking the pressure off of himself a little bit, and I think he could actually be a very good hitter. So we'll see, because there's days like last week, for example, on Thursday, what was that, May, I don't know, whatever. Last Thursday before this podcast, I think he hit like 2 bombs off Caden in the practice where it's like, I didn't hit any. He probably hit the best that night, so he could come around for sure. But I did notice it. Like, it felt like I was waiting forever to hit out there for sure, the 4-man thing. And overall, yes, it was nice to see Davenport rip one. But I do think there was limited production out of the number 4 spot for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, to be expected, though. It's almost like you were kind of expecting, I don't know, at least for me, I was not expecting much production at all from those 4 guys, like the 4 spot guys. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the Mallards definitely got more, obviously.
A little bit, yeah. Blade didn't have his best day. You guys were really affected by the Landon injury. I thought that was a big factor in the series, actually, with having him not healthy and not in that lineup, because he was one of your more consistent contact hitters last year.
Yeah, the injury to Landon definitely hurts, and Blade definitely struggled as well with the Robles' sinking drop. He told me. So yeah, it's going to be a question mark going forward. I'm hoping Landon gets a speedy recovery. I'm also going to try and get Carson as many bats as I can. But I think Blade will bounce back. We definitely have depth for the future. I'm not worried at all. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I do think Blade has a lot of potential. He's a great athlete. Just wasn't his day.
No,
it wasn't his day.
It wasn't.
So, but overall, I do think that it adds an interesting twist. I love having all the guys in the bases. It's nice to see no ghost runners.
I thought that was really cool.
I think that's visually very nice as a fan, for sure.
Way less confusion.
Yeah,
way less.
I think for the casual viewer, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
but besides that, other factors in this series, the weather did get bad late. I think that kind of factored into Caden's lack of control he had there late in that game 3. It got nasty. It was windy.
It did. It looked nasty, dude, on the video. I feel like the video probably didn't do it justice.
Oh, you should have seen about 10 minutes after we finished playing the game. It got terrible. The cleanup was miserable, guys. I'm telling you, the cleanup was miserable. Me and Jordan got absolutely soaked out there. My car was nasty. It was not a good situation.
Probably not the best series to break out the white shorts, even though you guys looked great.
Yeah, it's worth it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they were clean. Both teams. I mean, great jersey matchup. Great jersey.
Yeah,
matchup.
I gotta say, I knew what the green was because, like, the Kelly green you guys are seeing us wear is the exact same green on the exact same company shirt. It's Triton, of course.
Yeah.
So the green of our number and of the duck last year on our jersey is the same Kelly green. But seeing the digital mock-up, I was like, I don't know if it's going to look good on the whole entire jersey. But when we got them in person and I put it with the white shorts and the hat, I was like, all right, this is going to look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I got excited. And now you guys see why I did what I did with the hat and straight away from the dark green. I think it's all kind of making sense now. Right?
Yeah, no, for sure. It was a very clean look.
I was happy.
As were the Eagles.
The Eagles got slept on because they wore a shirt from last year.
No,
but I liked the navy shorts with the navy bill. I thought was clean.
Yeah, no, your jerseys look great. You guys actually made me want to get white cleats myself with white socks because I thought
that was totally unplanned.
It looked clean.
I was looking to get new shoes. Mine last year were toast. I actually left them. Fun fact: I left them in Pennsylvania after the UIFs tournament because these things, Jack, those dogs had been through it, and it was wet there the whole weekend. So they were just disgusting. I was like, you know what? This is an 8-hour car ride home. There's 6 other guys in this car.
Can't do it.
I'm not doing it to anybody. These are getting left here.
I'm not doing it.
No. So I wrapped them up in a little Kroger bag, and I put them in a trash can at People's Bank Park. The name's changed now, but they're in Pennsylvania. If you guys want to go find them, go to your local dump or somewhere in York, Pennsylvania. So yeah, the New Balances were retired, and while I was there dealing with the wet, stinky feet issue, I was asking Ryan and Caden because they're like, my feet are dry. I was like, how do you guys have dry feet right now? My feet have been soaked since yesterday morning.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, these Adidas ones, like they're like water resistant, waterproof. So I was like, I'm 100% getting those next year. And I didn't love the black version of the Adidas ones. They were kind of just daddish looking, for lack of a better word. So I was like, I'm going to get the white. And I show up to the Mallards practice the week before opening day, and everyone's wearing white shoes. I was like, geez, I guess everyone's wearing white this year.
Yeah.
And then we get to the field, and Jordan's like, I got to buy white shoes now. Like, everyone's got white. So totally unplanned, but yeah, it looked great.
It looked great.
I was happy overall with it. I will say that I had that white undershirt on too because I thought it looked so good. It was a little warm under there at first, but throughout the day it got chilly. It got
cold at the end. It got
Wait till
really
you guys
cold.
see this next Cobra's Wildcat series. It was supposed to be like 70 and sunny that whole day. And I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to get a little tan. I can wear shorts and a t-shirt. I was back there commentating. I was freezing my butt off.
Welcome to the Midwest.
I know.
Just when you thought the weather was going to be nice.
You can never count on it.
Like you said, we only had one rain series the whole last year, and we already had 2 this year.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Wildcats Cobras wasn't like rainy, but it was on and off.
It's still annoying.
It was very annoying. It's from a production standpoint, when you're filming outside with our equipment, it makes it so much more difficult. Everyone's holding umbrellas, and it's a nightmare, kind of.
So I really liked how both teams did pull off the matching shorts. It made it look just way more professional. So the Magic are obviously going to try to follow suit there in that regard. And actually, last night we had a little team meeting to discuss multiple things, but uniforms being one of them. And I don't know, I kind of wanted to ask you guys, because I won't name names, but there was one suggestion for the Magic's white jerseys, what color shorts to wear, and someone suggested going all white. And I thought that was a little bit too much white. I said that we might look a little bit like Stormtrooper-ish.
You might.
What do you guys think, honestly? What would be the best with our jerseys? I was saying purple.
Purple,
I think would look coolest with the white.
I think do purple shorts and everything else white.
Yeah, I think that's clean.
Everything white.
Here's the other thing to keep in mind is that our hat is black. It has a purple bill, but the hat is black.
Yeah.
So like black shorts could also play. I don't know.
I think legitimately you could play, Jack, in black shorts with either jersey. You could play in white shorts with the white jersey, maybe not the black one. But you could play in white shorts. You go white on white. I think teal would also look sick with either one.
Teal could be.
if you can find the right shade.
Right.
Which is not impossible, like the Kelly shorts that I bought last year for our black jerseys.
Yeah.
Those were cheapo, like on Amazon.
So hard to tell online, though.
It's not perfect, but like it gets the job done.
Yeah.
From afar, it looks fine. You know what I mean?
That's actually good. I didn't think about teal.
I think you guys with the black jersey would look good with black shorts or teal shorts or purple shorts too. I think.
Yeah.
I think you could mix all those in. So
I don't know.
I'm gonna keep coordinating with the teams, make sure we're all on the same page because that's got to be every team's got to do that. That's not just one and done.
No, we
did the same thing for the Wildcats Cobras series, and the Cobras did go Stormtrooper by the way. I'll show you pictures afterwards on my phone. It looked sick.
Yeah, it did
look really good.
All white.
All white. Yeah.
Okay.
So I wouldn't rule it out, Jack.
We might have to. Okay.
What if you guys got
appreciate
what if you found somehow, some way, like 90s cup themed shorts?
They got to be out there. They got to be out there with like white, but then the logo across.
That would be dirty.
That would be dirty. Is that like overkill though? Like if it's like could be overkill.
It for sure could be overkill. We almost went. We were considering, and we still could do this in the future. We were considering. I don't have these shorts, so I was holding up hoodies that I have. And I was like, we could go black shorts with these. We could go gold, like to match the sleeve and the hat. But the Eagles have gold in their jersey, so I was like, we'll stray away from that to differentiate the teams a little better.
Yep.
So that's an option. We could do gold with those. Kelly on Kelly doesn't work, but black, white, gold, I think all could be options there. Even gray.
Is ours really gold? It's more of a yellow.
It's athletic gold is the term. But I've gone through a lot of suppliers, Dan. It's athletic gold.
Fair.
So is like the outline on your E, on your Eagle E is athletic gold.
Really?
Same thing, yeah.
It's more of a yellow to me, but
it's athletic gold.
Athletic gold.
Tell you what it is. I don't know what the what do they call that? The hex number for like the color code.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the code is, but I know all these athletic apparel suppliers refer to that color as athletic gold. So
interesting.
Fun fact.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, but overall it was good. I can't complain too much about number one, like my personal performance, number two, my team's performance, number three, the MLW production. I think we did pretty darn good for opening day. Spring training helps, of course. All that, working the kinks out and stuff like that helps a ton for me and Kyle. Just get back in the swing of things. But I was pretty happy, Jack. What did you think of the final product?
I loved it. I thought it was great. There were a couple new camera angles that were mixed in there, which I think was courtesy of, what's his name?
Brendan
Baker. Thank you.
BRB Photography.
Yeah, there were a couple cool new camera angles in there. Production, again, just flawless. Great video to watch.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I thought it came out great. Brendan Baker's photos also came out great. But yeah, production quality is always great, and the new graphics too that Kyle made were great. Like especially with like your Coughlin.
Yeah, the little motion graphics were pretty sick.
Yeah, we had a Patley Cards sponsor with the what was it? It was a pinch hitting.
It's any substitutions.
Any
pinch hitting is sponsored by Patley Cards. Pitching changes are sponsored by Patley Cards.
Nice.
So
right on.
Yeah, so that's cool for him to get some placements as he tries to build that brand up for sure. You guys probably noticed a couple new banners in the outfield as well. We changed the color of the Lefty Swag Bats banner and the Max BP banner just because sometimes when you're hitting, when there's the white on white, it's a little tricky. Also for like TikToks on YouTube, it's harder to see the ball coming in when it's a white background behind you. So
little details, man.
Yeah, little details like that we tried to improve as well. But
Dan, where do the Eagles and your mustache go from here?
It's a great question, actually.
Well. No, it was a tough series. Might have to shave the mustache.
Shave the muzzy?
No, I'm just kidding.
Do I grow the muzzy?
You should grow one.
I think the rules in MLW should change to if your team wins the series, you guys can't shave. No one can shave until you lose a series. Then you got to start clean again.
Okay.
So
but I do want to hear your actual answer for that.
For what?
Like where do the Eagles go from here?
What's the morale like
is it like, what's it like in the locker room right now?
In the clubhouse.
Team chemistry is still very strong. I love the boys. I think it comes down to me first and foremost. I got to be better on the mound. I've already told myself I got to make some pitching adjustments. In fact, I'm going to text Dallas. I want to learn his, and Robles, kind of similar, his two-seam sinker.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's past time that I learn how to throw that pitch. I feel like I need something additional in my arsenal. But yeah, and then hitting-wise, we just need somebody to step up at the fourth spot. I'm still very confident that Blade can be that person. But yeah, if hopefully Carson can also get some good at-bats, and Zach's been a very steady presence, like you said, for however long he's been on the Eagles.
Yeah.
So we'll be fine. I'm not worried. Yeah. Once
do we have a time? What are the odds we see Landon? this year?
I think
this year high. I think.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
he's projected to come
he's
back
on crutches. So.
in June. I think
Okay.
he said.
Okay.
So I think he's
that's
not
good
too bad.
news.
Yeah.
I don't
you
know.
Eagles
I've heard a
fans?
couple different things, but he had surgery in April, so that's pretty recently.
Okay.
But I think the crutches are supposed to be gone in June. I could see him if he plays it like his doctor recommends him to. I think realistically a good timeline would be like second half of the season after the All-Star break. July. I think that'd be smart. But I know guys like Blade, where they weren't supposed to be playing, went out there and played anyway, which is always a little scary.
The question I think we should be asking is, who did Dan hire as the strength and conditioning coach for the Eagles? Because they've had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, I think Dan
over
works
the
him too
past
hard.
few seasons, more than any other team, I would think.
Yeah, Blade is always hurt.
Well, let's see. Clayton had the lawnmower incident years ago.
Yeah,
That was
Fluke.
scary.
That
that wasn't on
scary
the strength
fluke.
and conditioning. Coach.
No. That was just a scary fluke. Thank God he's okay. But yeah, so Clayton went down. Blade went down twice now. No, Blade went
Multiple
down.
times.
Blade's kind of down right now, isn't
perpetually injured, yeah.
Chronically injured Blade Walker. And yeah, now Landon's down. But I do think Landon will be a big spark back to your lineup. So you guys are going to have to try to get through that this first half without him and to scrape together some series wins because every game counts.
Yep.
The NL is very talented. I tell you what, at least I know I've been kind of low on the Gators. We'll see how they do in their first series, but Diamondbacks, Mallards, and Eagles, I still think are three very good teams, and it's gonna be nothing's gonna be easy.
It's gonna be a dogfight.
It's gonna be an absolute dogfight.
Definitely gonna have to earn it.
Yeah. I'll say in our clubhouse, my guys were definitely pretty juiced, pretty amped up, and I was like, all right, guys, it's two wins. Let's take a deep breath.
Settle
here.
down.
It's a long season.
Settle down.
Long season. Everybody in the comments is on the bandwagon so hard, but it is a long season. I'll tell you that.
I will say it is a long season, but to start it off with 2 wins,
it's great.
I mean, we've seen, like, we talk about how it's a long season, but at the same time, you only get so many games and so many chances. So like that, it'll be interesting to see how it ends at the end of the year with the records, right? Like we might look back on this opening day series and be like, wow, like what if? Like you guys won that first game 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
Like what that's and it's, I don't know. It always works out to be pretty close, but we'll see.
But I
We'll
was
see
just
how
thinking,
it turns out.
it's like the September Heisman's, man. It doesn't matter. You got to earn it for a few months to really make some noise.
For sure. And
in the playoffs especially, too, I've been saying execute since last year.
To be honest, Tom, I'm just happy we got one because honestly, the way we played, I thought we should have got swept. And like Kyle always says, in this league, you just cannot get swept.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just glad we got one. I told Norp, excuse me, I wasn't happy with our performance, but I was content that we got that one.
Yeah.
That can happen.
I will say, just how I said the 2 wins is so important, that 1 win could also be a huge difference maker,
Yeah, Dallas
like
really
the way that whole video and series was going, I also had texted Tommy trying to get some inside scoop on the series and how it went before the video came out, and he just said it went well. Let's just save that conversation for the pod.
Oh yeah.
But when I was watching it, I was like, after game 1,
I gave you nothing.
You gave me nothing.
Wow.
You gave me absolutely nothing.
Stingy.
Yeah. But after game 1 and then like game 2, when they just were pounded in runs, I was like, I think they might sweep them. Like this could be a sweep. So I think it was huge that the Eagles got
Dallas really put the team on his back in game 3.
Yeah, think about Dallas's last performance of the year last season in the playoffs, where he, for the lack of a better word, fell apart against the D-backs.
Yeah.
Tough to watch. It was cool to see him bounce back after losing the first game. He pitched a great game 1 and a solid game 3, very solid game 3. He did have me on my toes in game 3. I was uncomfortable in that batter's box, game 3 for sure.
I mean, he lost game 1 on not even a bad
swing.
pitch, just a good hit.
Yeah. He did good. Good. Game 2, it got out of hand, but at that point he came into the game, it was bases loaded. He was already down.
I put him in a tough position.
Yeah, for sure.
I was happy to see him mentally grow.
Yeah,
in that
for
third
sure.
game, for him to put it behind him and bounce back.
For sure. But overall, great day at the Meadows. Good feedback so far on the video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it for some reason, definitely go give it a watch. Hopefully some new fans are watching.
I think it's doing pretty well view-wise.
Yeah, I think so.
So far.
We'll see how it does over the next several weeks, of course. But I did read some of your guys' comments, or most of them, I should say, on the video and all your DMs and whatnot. I'm going to try to share my favorite comment of the week every single episode of this podcast, because some of them are pretty comical. And this week, I got to give a shout out to Luke Kasayan. How would you say that?
Kasayan.
Kasayan. Luke Kazian. Luke Kazian. He says, Dallas Allen dropping weight and pitching nasty drop balls. TC3 cementing his legacy, juiced out of his mind, going deep to dead center twice. Dan's curveball kissed the moon and came back for a strike. Colm Rookie of the Year talks. Robles mowing hitters down like a John Deere on a sunny Sunday. MLW is back, boys. Phenomenal comment.
Sunny Sunday.
10 out of 10.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Not on steroids, by the way, but 10 out of 10 comment. Funny. Made me laugh. Made me smile. As did a lot of them, but I picked out my favorite.
Yeah, random drug test, Tom.
Hey, I'm feeling good, guys. I hit well. The chest has not been affecting me over the last couple months, so that's good. I've been feeling healthy, which is always a good thing.
Hitting the gym,
yeah, in moderation. Not trying to overdo it.
He's totally juicing. By the
way. Look right into the camera. Not on steroids, but
not yet.
Yeah, thank you, Luke, for your comment. Please, guys, on both the podcast and on YouTube, continue to drop your feedback for all the series and videos below, whether it's analysis, funny comments, all that kind of stuff, and we'll share some of our favorites on the pod throughout the summer. Moving on from the series, guys, some big news in MLW is that we are returning to Vermont for the second year for the mini MLB series. Pretty exciting. I'm excited about it because last year we did it totally in private. This year we're going to have a live audience. It's open to the public for attendance, and it's happening during Slam T1D's Wiffle Ball tournament. So we could have a very, very, very large crowd for this one.
Nice.
Super excited about that. And it is August 11th.
Dude, that's going to be so cool.
I think it could be the most electric atmosphere in MLW history.
Of all the videos last year, I have to say, I think like just those fields, the replica fields, I don't know, man. They were just so cool. Like even playing at SoFi was obviously super cool, but there's something about those fields that were like designed specifically for wiffle ball and like replicas that I don't know. That was like one of my favorite videos last year. And now that there's going to be an audience there, it's going to be like next level.
I know. And that those fields are only so big. We're going to have to pack the people in. But dude, the dates are August 11th and 12th. It is the Eagles versus the Wildcats. Lucky you, Dan.
You got me nervous now.
But additionally, guys, there's also a raffle ongoing where you can actually win a trip for yourself and one guest to come out to the series. You get your flight paid for.
What do you got to do to get into the raffle?
Paid for. So all the information's on MLWWiffleball.com, but essentially we are raising money for type 1 diabetes alongside Slam T1D. So I don't have the specific rules in front of me, but I think if you make a donation of $10 or more, that'll get you a one raffle ticket.
Nice.
So you can enter as many times as you want. And yeah, we're raising money here, and then the winners of the raffle will get 2 plane tickets out to Vermont and a place to stay for the weekend and enjoy some wiffle ball and meet the guys. So pretty cool. We've never done anything like that before. Little sweepstakes.
Oh, that's awesome. I might just have to
join the raffle.
Hey, you're supporting a good cause. I should too. I haven't donated yet, so I definitely should.
Yeah.
And for those of you that have already entered and donated, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I can't wait to meet the duo that wins and comes out to see it. And all the other guys that make the trip too. It's gonna be a pretty special environment, I think, Dan.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I can't wait.
Pressure's on.
I know. I
Which field do you think you're most excited to play on? It's the same 3, right?
Same. Yeah, we'll do one on each again. Yeah.
That's a really tough question. I would probably say Field of Dreams because that's just crazy.
So cool.
Yeah, so cool.
Hopefully no one hits a home run off you into the cornfield.
Hopefully, good thing you're not playing the Mallards, huh?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, what is the order of the fields? Because I'm trying to think of which game I'll be pitching at. Do you remember?
I think Friday night game 1 is Fenway first, and then...
Is it Field of Dreams second?
I think it's Wrigley second, and Field of Dreams concluded all.
So I'll probably be pitching at Wrigley.
Probably.
We'll see.
Little Wrigley.
We'll see.
So actually, that I know we kind of finished talking about the series, but we had 2 different strategies from the teams where you pitched Robles game 2, and then you're kind of the number 2 now for the Eagles, and you're going game 2.
The deuce.
What's the logic there, like for both you guys?
So, Matt Carlington and I, my draft pick, like I said, he's pretty involved in that decision-making process with me. And our original plan was, if the Eagles are putting together good ABs against Jordan, let's get him out game 1. Let's put Caden in game 2, or whomever game 2, to switch up the eye levels. He was cruising game 1, and Matt's like, I was like, what do you think we should do, Matt? And he's like, I think we should send him out there. I was like, all right, I trust you. So we send him out there, and I'm kind of seeing they're starting to foul stuff off, and I'm looking at Matt. I'm in right field, and I'm looking at Matt like, I don't know. And then Zach hits a home run, and I'm looking at Matt like, screwed up. We should have put Caden in. So Caden was going to go in next inning in the second. Or what inning was that? Yeah, he was going to go in bottom 2. We put up a 6 spot, and I was like, all right, Caden, you ready? And he's like, yeah. And Matt's like, whoa, like, let's put Robles back out there now. We got a lead. We got a cushion. Let him pound the zone. Like, if they get a solo shot, who cares? Let Robles finish. He's already warmed up. Caden will go game 3. So Matt's playing his part, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, he's playing his
Awesome.
part. That's why I drafted him. I needed him.
Yeah.
So, and he may get some at-bats. Maybe even in our next series. We'll see. The guy can hit, too. He's also at the practices now. He comes to every one. So he's getting the same amount of practices as I am.
Where do you guys practice at?
We practice in a city in the middle of nowhere because I got myself coming from Whitmore Lake, Michigan. We got Caden coming from Sylvania, Ohio. Brendan Davenport, I think, is coming from Belleville, Michigan. And Matt's coming from Livonia, Michigan. So we're not close to each other. So we go to this park in Milan, Michigan.
Nice.
And it's just a public park, and we bring a strike zone, a bat, and a couple of balls, one good scuff ball, and we just set up shop.
Love it.
So it's inconvenient, I'll be honest. It sucks driving 40 minutes, but I mean, when it feels like it's worth it.
Could be worse.
Yeah, exactly. It could be,
what about
be a
you,
lot
Dan?
worse.
So my philosophy has been that I like giving Dallas like the new ball pretty much. So almost always first and third game. I feel like my stuff is still, like the effectiveness doesn't change based off the ball as much. So even if the ball is banged up in game 2, my knuckle drop is still working. My riser is usually still fine. So I like giving Dallas the best possible path to success with, a fresh ball. And
Right
he
on.
likes that too. So
Right on.
Other than that, guys, I think that's about all we need to cover today.
Yeah.
This Friday coming up is Cobras versus Wildcats. That is the next video on the channel. So we'll try to get a guest on from that series next Tuesday. But I think that's about a wrap on our first video episode, Jack. First in-house video episode.
I think it went pretty well.
I hope. I feel like I'm a little bit sweaty, but that's okay.
What do you think?
This fire's cooking.
I'm super sweaty. I'm not gonna lie. this thing's more than toasty.
I'm gonna have to crank the AC from now on
Yeah.
and then turn it off right before, because if we have the furnace on, it's too loud down here. That's the problem. We gotta go to the furnace. But
no, yeah, it's been a blast. I'm glad to be back on.
thanks for coming on, Dan. Appreciate
no
it.
problem.
How was you wrapped up college this year? You're done?
Yeah, I'm done. I got a nice break right now.
Free man.
Just doing nothing really.
When we gonna go fishing soon?
Oh, we should. Where do you want to
Wait,
go?
you graduated?
No,
No.
for the summer.
Oh.
For the summer.
I was gonna say
One more
dude,
year.
Where
Maybe
did
one more year.
Where did wow?
Maybe I haven't fished a lot this year, Dan. Thursday's my birthday. Maybe Thursday morning we should go fishing.
Oh shoot, yeah.
Early morning. You down to get up early?
I'm
I know
golfing
you like to sleep
Thursday evening, so I'll go in the morning
Ooh.
if you want.
Would you be down to get up at 6:30 or 7?
Oh gosh.
I gotta work, Dan. I can't just take a day off.
No, I would do it. Where at?
Probably down at Crooked.
Okay.
I'll have to text Mr. Other Dan the man. But yeah, that's kind of a wrap, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. For those of you who are listening still on Apple and Spotify, of course, as you've been hearing us reference throughout this episode, we have video episodes now. They are available on YouTube. Check us out. It's MLW's Pipe It Up podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and give us a comment on your feedback. We'd really appreciate that. But besides that, happy birthday, Brendan Jorgensen, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Pipe it up, 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 pipe it up.